Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another stream. Today we're going to focus on 50 big blinds, big blind multi-way strategies facing the cutoff and the button. Already got the flops or the situation loaded here, and we're going to go straight into it. And we're going to look at an ace high board that's not too connected. Obviously the ace and the nine are not connected, but the ace and the deuce are. And we're going to see what's what. So I hope you guys are doing well. If you've got any questions, as always, fire them into the chat. And yeah, so if you've not attended one of these before, excuse me, then what I tend to focus on is the difference between study and training. So to begin with, we're going to study the spot, and then we're going to drill it. We're going to train and see how we get on. So that's the plan. Just want to make sure I can see everything, see the chat and all sorts. So yeah, so let's get straight into it. So in this situation, as you might expect, or maybe you didn't, but as I think many of you would expect, on an ace-9 deuce board, let me just go through the spot in case that wasn't clear. So it's 50 big blinds deep, cutoff opens, button defends, small blind folds, and the big blind calls. And we get this ace-9 deuce board. And as I was starting to say, as you might imagine, we don't get to start leading here at all from the big blind. The cutoff does have some bets, so we'll start off the study and the training looking at cutoff bets, button calls, what we want to do versus that. And then we'll take a look at what happens when the cutoff checks, because that's what they're doing most of the time here. And then the button bets, and we are the sandwich player. And we've talked about this idea or this concept of being the sandwich player before, and whether that allows us to have any raises or we always just play pure call with our continuing range. And there are certain boards where it depends. There used to be this kind of misconception that as the sandwich player, you could never raise. That's not true. We proved that in the last couple of sessions that we've done, and we may well prove that again today. Okay, so we are going to have a cutoff bet. Let's just go back and have a quick look at this strategy. So it's some ace-x hands betting. We've got some bluffs in here as well. Some jack 10, backdoor flush draw type hands. We've got sort of basically like 3 to a straight, 3 to a flush, or flush draw type of hand going in here. We got some 9x betting as well, and then just a huge amount of checking. So facing the bet, let's have a quick look at the button strategy. Not a lot. Well, 11.5% raising, so raising bottom set and best ace-x hands. And then calling with a lot of the other hands, so the weaker ace-x hands, the 9x hands, king-queen with a flush draw, a backdoor flush draw. Same with king-queen off. There is a bit of raising, actually, with that. And king-jack off even with the heart. Well, the king of hearts is going to continue pretty frequently, and then pairs. Lots of pairs are going to continue, and then we should see, if you look at like pocket fours, we continue with hearts more frequently than without. Okay, so hey Yanis in the chat. So in this situation, we want to see what happens. We're not sandwiched this time. This player is the sandwich player because he's got us to think about behind. We're going to take a look at our strategy, and what the first thing that jumps out to me here is that we've got 2 raise sizes. So 50 big blinds is clearly going to be infinitely harder, or at least 2x harder, or however many branches follows these 2 raise sizes. So yeah, maybe not infinitely, but a lot harder, because you've got 2 raise sizes to think about. And if only one of them is used, then that's great. But if they're both used, then it becomes a lot more challenging, because you can see now we've got 5 options. We've got fold, call, small raise, bigger raise, and a jam. So it becomes a lot more complicated. I don't think when it goes big blind check, cutoff check, and button bets that I think we only have 1 raise size. We don't have 2. So at least we've got that going for us. It's just these situations when cutoff bets and button calls where we have two raise sizes. So lots of folding, which is good. Calling with a lot of, looks to me like a lot of flush draws and 9x and ace-x and, well, king deuce and then 7 deuce and down. And then if, yeah, the hands that do continue will be hands like queen deuce of hearts, for example. Jack deuce, 10 deuce. So we've actually got some jamming with the deuce x of heart hands. I think that's pretty easy to remember. We've got some jams with ace deuce off with the 2 of hearts. Let's have another quick look. Ace 9, which is 2 pair. And then tiny bit with, looks to me like 5 4 5 3. But I probably wouldn't do that. 5 4 of hearts, as you would expect, I think. Okay, so that's the jams. In terms of the raises, I think this is where when we start drilling it, there's a chance we can make some mistakes. Because I think when we know that 2x of heart hands jam, lots of hands will call, and then we'll see some raising from like an ace 9, best ace x, ace deuce, which is 2 pair, a little bit of raising with 1 heart, with these weaker ace x hands as well. I wonder what that is trying to get to achieve. So when we make a small raise here, cutoff's going to continue with all of their ace x and start folding a lot of their backdoor flush draws, but they're still going to continue with their front door flush draws. And similarly, can't imagine the button folds any ace. No. So I guess we're just, you know, it's a raise for value. When we go for the slightly bigger size, you can start to see the cutoff is actually going to fold some ace x hands now, which is, you know, something we need to be aware of. But on the whole, our strategy, let's go back here, is mainly fold, lots of calling, some small raising, some bigger raising, and then some jams as well. Yeah, let's just have a look at these raises. So some 9x in here as well. 9x with a backdoor flush draw. 9-4, 9-3, 9-5, 9-6. We've got some 8-7 of hearts, so like wraps around the 9, but you know, it's a flush draw. But has a backdoor straight draw as well. Can get some better hands to fold. And really targeting those diamond hands rather than heart hands, because I don't think they're going to fold. But we continue with gut shots, continue with 2x, continue with ace-x, continue with 9x, but not all 9x actually. 9x, 9, yeah, we need a backdoor flush draw to continue when the kicker is lower than the 9. See a little bit more creeping in here, and then 9-4, 9-3 in there all the time. So presumably there's some bluffs in our opponent's range between the 8, 7, 6, 5 portion, but also and 9. But also, 10. But also, when we improve the 2 pair, our opponent is going to have a decent number of better 2 pair. Like, so we can improve to 9-7 on a 7, and they can have a7, right? So I think there's a decent amount of that going on. Yeah. All right. Let's have a go at drilling this. And I'm going to give you some my ideas from what we've covered so far in terms of study. But now we're going into the training aspect. And one thing I will say, if you've watched these streams before, I am bound to make some mistakes. Multi-way is hard, and I think as soon as we embrace that we're going to make mistakes, I think that's the best way to approach it, because we're going to learn from those mistakes. So we did a really sort of broad overview. We know that we want to be check jamming with like 2x of hearts, ace deuce, maybe do some raising with ace 9. We check raise with 9x of diamonds sometimes. Lots of 9x is just going to fold. Flush draws and gut shots and single 2x hands are going to continue. And I think that's kind of it. That's kind of the approach I've got. Anyway, so I think an ace is just always going to call. There's a bit of, raising for other amounts as well. We have a 9 here with a backdoor flush draw. I think that continues. Okay, so we've got calling 58% of the time. And then, I think this is going to be really challenging to know which of these 2 raise sizes is used, and maybe all of them. Okay, fair enough. 8-7 we get to fold. King 8 would be an easy fold. 8-6 is a fold. Flush draw, I think we just call. Okay, there's a tiny bit of raising in there as well. Same thing going on here, I imagine, with Jack 5 of hearts. By the way, guys, I know this is some of the feedback we got last time was that I go quite quickly through this. Doesn't really give you an opportunity to think. I'll do some quick ones and then we'll slow down. But when it's really obvious, I think we just want to fold. Kind of wrap around the 9, backdoor flush draw as well, but I think it's probably just going to be too weak. We have a gut shot here, and I think all the 5-3 was continuing. Oh, 2x of hearts. Okay, in the chat, guys, let's see who was paying attention. What's our play here? Do we fold? Probably not. Do we call, small raise, bigger raise, or jam? What can you guys remember here? Okay, Zonk says all in. Okay, Vrook says jam as well. So we've got some early shouts for putting all the chips in there. Let's see what happens. Of course it is. It was 2x of heart hands. All of those hands are going to jam, and I just want to show you something. So when you do jam this, you are generating folds from better hands. So obviously sets are never going to fold, and 2 pairs not going to fold. But you are and flush draws not going to fold. But that's not necessarily a better hand because you already have a pair. But you can see that ace king, ace queen, ace jack, ace 10, ace 8, ace 7. You've got some hands that are actually now 9x hands that have to fold. So you are generating folds from better hands. And then if the big blind still in there, it's also going to start folding some ace-x hands and some 9x and some pairs in here as well. That's certainly better than a 2 right now. So that's I just wanted to sort of talk about why that was happening. This is going to be a fold. Plenty of very, very straightforward folds, I think, with this. With the flush draw, seems to be mixing between call and small raise. King 10 off is going to be a fold. I'm not sure. It was like king queen off, king jack off with a heart. Was that continuing? I think I'd like to explore that a bit more. This is a backdoor flush draw. I think we already saw this where all options were available, just don't fold. This hand, no heart, is going to fold. Queen 9 off. I think having the overcard to the 9 is good, so we always call. Same thing here. Okay, maybe we do some raising as well. Fair enough. I just got a message come up asking if the video is buffering. But I think that might just be... Yeah, guys, can you just let me know that if your video is all right? I think that's more about when watching the stream back. But I just got a message anyway that says that. Bit of buffering. So it says on here, use the low latency toggle under the advanced menu and settings to disable low latency mode. I think that's more for you guys watching if you want to try that. That's something to go for. But thanks for the feedback, Zonk Dobonk. Okay, going to call here. And we do actually raise some best ace-x hands as well. This is going to be a fold. So we've done well over 25. 7s with a heart, I want to call. And this is going to fold. So on and so forth. Let's get to 25 here. So I think 9-8 off without a heart folded, right? Okay, well, maybe a little bit of calling. But yeah, mainly going for a fold. 7-6 off is going to fold. 6-3 off is going to fold. I'm going to fold here. Mix again. Flush draw. I'm going to fold here. And that's 25 out of 25. One thing I wanted to focus on was what we're doing with king, queen off. Wow, is that right? Let's just check this. So yeah, just not even any continuing with a backdoor flush draw. Okay. Oh yeah, so it was in position, wasn't it? Who was continuing with with king, queen off with a heart. Okay, cool. That's good. Good to know. So that's our sort of first look. I think pretty decent. Nothing crazy. What we're going to do now is go check, and the button's going to bet, and we're going to play as a sandwich player this time. And And this is what their betting strategy looks like, using the small bet a lot. And I think when you recognize that this is a board where we're not going to get to do any raising, it becomes a lot easier to understand what's going on, or to apply the strategy, because you've got two options. You either fold or you call. That's it. You don't do any raising. You don't do small raising, big raising, jamming, or anything like that. This time you are just going to play call or fold. So recognizing these situations is going to be really valuable and important when it comes to playing in game. And don't forget that the cutoff has checked here. Can definitely have some really strong hands. So we're on an ace-9 deuce board. Aces doesn't bet all the time. Neither does nines. Neither does deuces. Ace-9 is exactly the same. Plus you've got, under pairs to the ace. You've got a lot of ace-x hands that are checking as well. So I think we're more likely to see check and then button bet. Let's go back. Than bet in the first place. So given that they've checked that, some strong hands, we end up, firstly we just don't have enough strong hands in order to raise. We have ace-9, we can have pocket twos, but we don't have nines, we don't have aces, and the cutoff definitely can. So just think about that. But it looks like we're continuing all of our ace-x, continuing all of our 9x, and continuing all of our flush draws, and continuing our gut shots by the looks of things. And when it's a deuce-x hand, it really wants to have hearts, unless it's king-deuce that actually still mixes some folding, and then 4-deuce and 3-deuce continue as well. All right. Well, I think we got that. I think it should be fairly easy. When you can reduce the options to just 2, then it's like facing a pre-flop all in. You've only got one option. Actually, you've got 2, fold or call, but you get the point. That's reducing the options makes life easier. We don't have to think about raising or jamming. I hope I explained that well enough in terms of why we do that. But we are the sandwich player here. There are going to be some boards where we do see some raising, but this isn't one of them. When our opponent can have a lot of really strong hands. If we have some really strong hands here, then let's say it was a 6-5-5 board where we've got a lot of strong pairs, I think we're then going to see some raising here, but not on this board. Okay, so remember what the idea is. We continue with an ace, a 9, ace and a 9. We continue with deuce-x when it's deuce-x of hearts, unless it's 4-deuce and 3-deuce that I guess connects less with these hands. Also gives us a backdoor straight draw. And king-deuce is a mix, and ace-deuce is obviously always going to call. But should be fairly easy. I don't remember about pairs with a heart, whether that called, but I'll have a look in a moment. But we know that all 9x is going to call, so this is pretty straightforward. Gut shots we're always calling. And remember, our only 2 options are call and fold. So if I make a mistake here, it's because I misclick rather than don't understand. Although pairs we didn't look at, but I imagine 3s, certainly without a heart, is not going to continue. I don't think this is going to continue either. 10 deuce of hearts wants to continue, but if it was 10 deuce of spades, for example, I think we would fold. An ace is always going to continue. This hand's going to fold. We're going to see a fold here, and a fold here, and a fold here, and finally a fold here. Okay, so not overly exciting, but I think some really important concepts to think about. None more so than don't raise or jam with your strong hands. You just call with everything that you want to continue with. So it's an ace, a 9, 2x of hearts, flush draws and gut shots, and low 2x hands, 4-deuce and 3-deuce. That's pretty much it. Anyone got any questions on this particular board? We're now going to look at another ace-high board, but it's slightly different, and you'll understand why as we get into it. But any questions so far? Oh, good. Awesome question. Well done, Zonk de Bonk. Do pocket pairs always fold? So I questioned whether it would be like pairs with a heart, and you can see sevens with a heart continue, sevens without it's gonna fold. The same happens with sixes, but when we get to fives, fours, and threes, it just doesn't even matter. Like just let it go. So it's a great question. Well done. Appreciate that. All right, let's look at another ace high board. We're gonna look at this ace four deuce board. So we talked earlier on about how, like, do we have some really strong hands in our range, and how might that affect things when we're the sandwich player? So first up, we actually do some leading on here. I'm not going to drill this because it doesn't happen often enough. I think defaulting to check is probably going to be the safest bet. But if you wanted to, you could drill that and have a look at, you know, some hands that want to start betting. You know, you've got pairs and pair and a draw and things like that, and draws and all sorts of stuff going on. But we're gonna default to check. But the reason why I wanted to pull this range up is because we do have 5-3 suited and 5-3 off, which means that we have a straight. We also have a set of twos and a set of fours. We also have ace deuce and ace four off and a bit of ace four suited. So yeah, a decent number of hands. So that might change things when we're the sandwich player. I don't know. Or maybe I do. Maybe I've already looked. We shall see. Cutoff is going to go pure check this time on, well, pretty much pure check as a tiny bit of betting. So we're going to get to see what we do as a sandwich player. This is our opponent's strategy. Very frequently we're going to see then when check to a kind of a mix between check and small bet. And versus that small bet, we can see that now we don't just have call and fold. We have a tiny little bit of raising and jamming in this spot. Mr. Jam says, when we are three-way, is it best to donk lead to put villain in the sandwich position, so the original raiser? And I'm going to say no. We don't necessarily just want to start donk betting. Yeah, we've already looked at some boards so far. This is the first one that we see. I mean, it's only the second board we've looked at, but the first one was pure check. This one has a tiny bit of leading 6%, but mainly 94% check. So there's no sort of default strategy where you want to start donk leading on boards that are not necessarily amazing for you. You know, we're still missing pocket aces. We're still missing the best ace-x hands in this spot. We don't just want to start leading just to put the cutoff in a difficult spot, because yes, okay, you can do that. They're going to be the sandwich player, but they have a decently strong range, right? And also, if the cutoff folds, well, then the button closes the action and is going to force you to play the rest of the hand out of position. You've donked way too much. So I would say no, unless we get to a spot, and we might see them later on, where we're supposed to donk fairly frequently, just check. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, it's because I didn't click it. Fair enough. All right, so we're doing a lot of folding in this spot. This time I'm going to continue with all of our 2x. We're going to continue with flush. We're going to continue with flush draws. When we have a gut shot, so you can see 3x and 5x, we want to fold if we've got clubs and spades, so they're not the suits on the board. And we're going to want to continue when we have a hand like Jack 5 of diamonds or 9-5 of diamonds. I mean, it's doing some folding as well, 8-5 of diamonds, stuff like that. So that, I think, is fairly easy to remember. Pairs, all the pairs are going to continue this time. All the ace-x are going to continue. We do see some raising with ace-2, ace-3, ace-4, ace-5, a little bit with ace-5 and ace-6, but mainly going for a call. King-queen off this time with the king of hearts is going to do some calling. We didn't see any of that, I don't think, in the last one, the ace-9 deuce flush draw board. Really strong hands then. Fours might do some raising, but twos doesn't. And then 5-3, just mainly going for a call as well. But there is also some jamming going on. So similar kind of concept to the ace-9 deuce, where the deuce was it was ace-9 of hearts and the deuce was whatever it was, diamonds. This time the 4 is the one that's not a heart. And when we have a 4x hand that has, 5-4 is a great example because it has a flush draw and it has a gut shot as well. Same with 4-3 of hearts. We're actually seeing some jams here, but 6-4 as well. And I think that we will see, when we jam here, we get to fold out some better hands. So, yeah, I don't think the original raiser is going to check. buttons bets and we jam and they get a call with all of their ace-x hands, for example, or their under pairs, for example. So we are generating a lot of folds. Plus, if we do get called, we run into it, we still have outs, which is quite nice. So I think, yeah, I think that's fairly straightforward. Just these lower 4x. There's some combo draws in here as well, 7-5 of hearts. So we'll watch out for this. But this is why we then want to go into drilling it and see, see what's what. So yeah, let's do that. So what I'll do is I'll try to pause on interesting spots like this one, because we do have a gut shot. But if you remember, when we do have a 3x or a 5x hand, we really want to have diamonds. A little bit of equity, a little bit more equity, a bit more opportunity to improve on the turn, even if it was just improving to a flush draw. So I think this is just always going to be a fold, but I think Jack 3 of diamonds would be continue. Same thing going on here with the 5x here. King 5 of diamonds would continue. Jack 4 of hearts. So let's pause it and have a think. Was this the kind of hand we get to jam, or are we just calling, or was there actually some raising in there? Can anyone remember? Scoreline Analytics says raise. So I think if we do find some raises, we could fold out some better hands from the cutoff. Zonk de Bonk has gone for raise as well. Infinity 899 though is going for a call. So I think it was more like the Turtle Monkey's going for call as well. Remember, it was like the 4-3, 5-4, 6-4, bit of 7-4 maybe. And I feel like Jack 4 maybe just wants to call instead. John the Greek has also gone for call. And NDB has gone for the sitting on the fence and has gone for a mix. But it is call. 100% cool. We always want to continue with an ace. There's a tiny bit of raising in there as well. Don't get to continue with this hand or this hand. So the deuce X, I think we were continuing with a lot, all the deuce X this time. Whereas on the ace 9 deuce board, we had to start folding some of them unless they had a flush draw. So that's, I think this is just always going to be a call. M Diamond says we can ISO versus better flush draws. So call. Okay. But anyway, yeah, so this one I think is just going to be a call. Yeah. There was some raising going on with ace 4, I think. Maybe it's just some jamming. Okay. Well, I don't think we've done too badly. How long has the stream been on? 30 minutes. We've been on 30 minutes, and this is the first mistake we've made. I'm going to take that as a win today. But let's just explore this a bit more, because yeah. All right. So not completely stupid, because there is some jamming, but we need the 4 of hearts to do some jamming here. Ace 4 off is mainly just calling and a tiny bit of raising as well. The other thing is that, can you see there's only one raise size this time, whereas when it went bet call there were 2 raise sizes. It becomes a lot more challenging. John the Greek says, how often does in position stab on this scenario after check? About half the time. We can revisit this if you would like. So check 51.1, small betting 48.9. Scoreline Analytics getting in there with the answer as well. Great stuff. Okay, so this is a bet, and so there was some jamming. I'm not too upset to have shoved this hand, but mainly raising ace 4 off with the 4 of hearts, doing some jamming as well. But the others are just going to go for a call. Okay, let's carry on through. And again, I'll stop if I think there's something that's interesting. So this hand I think is interesting. Now, remember I said earlier on, there's this like misconception as to you could never raise as the sandwich player, but we've seen that that's not right. Like, you can raise some hands in this spot, but this isn't one of them. This was one of those hands that went for a call very frequently, I think, and so if there is any raising, maybe it does raise with the 5 of hearts for some reason, But I think this is going to be very frequently called. I think this is, we look through the strong hands, and this is an example of that. Okay, so yeah, calling 93.8, raising the rest. Fair enough. Remember, the 3x hands, we want to have diamonds or hearts to be able to continue. Whoa. He thinks. Let's have a look. I was so sure. Okay, well. So queen 3, jack 3, 10 3, all of these, fine. King high, we just get to continue. So this is exactly why you need to train, like drill it, and not just study it. Because I was so confident then. I even said, we have the king high. We definitely need to, we need diamonds or hearts in the flush draw or backdoor flush draw to be able to call. But you can see that actually all king 3 continues here. And so this is a spot where if king 3 hadn't come up, I wouldn't have known that king 3 of spades and king 3 of clubs continues here. So I think this is really, really useful. And as I said right at the start, I am bound to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes when you go through this stuff as well. But mistakes are really good. And so I don't want to, I don't want to get to a point where I'm like defending that was bad. Make mistakes, learn from it, and you'll see just a huge amount more progress when you sort of embrace the fact that you are allowed to make mistakes. That's fine. Calling or raising. I think we have a gut shot. So let's see what happens. Okay. Mainly calling, some raising. Same thing here. Okay, I'm going to call most of the time with a 4. I'm going to fold this one. I'm going to call. Okay, there must be a little bit of raising as well. 6-3. So we saw there was just king 3, right? King 3 of spades. And I would have just said 2 minutes ago, I would have said, remember, we need to have diamonds in this spot in order to continue. But yeah, I'm still fairly confident. If it was jack 3, 10 3, 9 3, 8 3, stuff like that of spades and clubs, I would be very confident to fold it. But yeah, I just wonder if 6-3 creeps in there. I'm going to fold, but yeah, we'll see. Zonk de Bonk on Twitch says, question in general: is this Chippy v GTO or under influence of ICM of some strength? This is all Chippy v. Okay, well, I did say that I thought that, that this one might start creeping in. Let's have a look. Okay, yeah. So 6-3, 5. I mean, 5-3 is straight, but 6-3 because we're drawing to the nuts, whereas these hands are not. Okay, so 6-3 and king 3 are the sort of the mistakes and the outliers that we've seen in this, but I think they make sense. Having a king, having an overcard, to some hands that bet. Seems reasonable. Scholar Analytics says, what about something like 6-7 of diamonds, 5-6 of diamonds, or 7-8 of diamonds? Well, I can tell you straight away. So 7-5 of diamonds is always going to call. Remember, that's one of those 5x hands with a backdoor flush draw. So a gut shot and a backdoor flush draw that's always going to continue. 7-6 of diamonds, though, is just going to fold. So you need 7-6 of hearts, and then 8-7, exactly the same thing going on. You need hearts. You can't continue with diamonds, and they're not, they don't check raise those hands. They're the kind of hands that do. Even 7-5 of diamonds just goes for a call, but 7-5 of hearts with more equity is going to go for a raise. And as you can see, there's not a huge amount of raising, right? Okay, so this ended up being a little bit more challenging than I thought, but it's something I've been thinking about. We talk about on our podcast actually. It's called Poker on the Mind, just in case you are not familiar with it. We talk about variance and how when you play, sometimes you can finish a session and you think, wow, I'm so bad at this game. I just didn't know what to do in so many spots. And sometimes you can finish a session and feel like you just know. You've solved poker. And those two things, neither of them are true. It's just the spots that came up happen to be ones that you were very comfortable with or very uncomfortable with. And that's all it is. All right. So when it comes to training like this as well, we've got the variance of getting a king 3 and a 6-3 of spades where we were unsure. whether they were continues, and they ended up being calls. So I think, yeah, we're certainly going to be some variance in training as well. I think this continues with the King of Hearts and folds with the Queen of Hearts. Okay, mixes, fine. As I said, guys, I'm just going to blast through these. If there's nothing really to say, then we're not going to go too detailed. But this is an interesting, you know, the kind of class of hand that this is. We have middle pair and a flush draw. Kind of similar to one we've already looked at, but let's see who, maybe you've just joined the stream, maybe you missed the bits where we talked about this as to what the optimal strategy looks like. But what do you guys want to do here? We're never going to fold, obviously, but is it a call, a raise, or a jam? Okay, so we've got votes for call. Okay, only call, no raise. Yeah, I think so. I think the kind of hands where we saw some raises and jams and stuff was 5-4, 4-3, 6-4, right? That's a really good point here. So it seems similar to the Jack-4. Yeah, Jack-4 of hearts, so cool, same logic. Don't want to ISO versus better flush draws. Yeah, you're talking about like, I don't want to ISO versus better flush draws, but I mean, why not? It's good. It's good. I'm not saying it's wrong, but like, why don't you want to ISO versus a better flush draw? Are you thinking that, you know, the kind of hands that continue versus a raise are flush draws, and obviously then when you improve to a flush, you lose a big pot? And you're thinking that if you just call, then your opponent still has a lot of hands in their range that isn't just a flush draw and very strong hands, so they can actually bluff, and you know, you can win. Yeah, your hand against their range when it just through check call is you're doing pretty well. I guess that's what you're saying, right? Cool. Okay. Yep. Just gonna call 3 deuce. Call, tiny bit of raising is in there. Can't remember if the 4 of hearts did anything special here. Okay, yeah, it does a little bit. King 7 though, just going to fold. 8-7 fold. I think we know what to do here, guys. Gut shot, backdoor flush draw. We are going to call. 9-8 is going to fold. And again, now remember, we continue with all ace-x. I think we continue with all ace-x, 4x, and 2x in this spot. Here we have a gut shot and a backdoor flush draw with the 7 of hearts. So is everyone happy for me to click the call button? Let me know really quickly in the chat. Boom, 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 boom. Let's go. Yeah. Okay. So there's a tiny bit of raising actually as well. Queen 4 was just like 10-4 and Jack 4 that we've had a few times now. 7-4, I think, as I said, we continue with ace-x, 4x, and 2x, right? So we're always going to continue with these hands. We'll do a couple more, and that's going to be it. All right, so that was the ace-4 deuce board. We've got ace-9 deuce flush draw and ace-4 deuce flush draw. We are going to switch now to a completely different situation. Yeah, let's go completely different and do a paired board. Turtle Monkey says, sorry, why does cutoff pure check versus a big blind check? Let's have a look. I think it's a really good question, and it's something that we maybe get to look at further down the line when we look at like playing in position, like cutoff or button in these situations. We've done quite a few big blind spots now, right? But what I would say to you is, how would you play cutoff versus button in this spot? Now, what I'm about to say is really general, and I'm not 100% sure that it applies to every single spot. But when you're thinking about multi-way spots, first thing to do is to think about how you would approach the spot if it was heads up against the person closest to you. As I said, that's a big, broad generalization to do that. But let's think about it. If cutoff versus button on an ace-4 deuce board is high frequency check, then it probably isn't going to change too much when we've got an added player in there. Now you could say cutoff versus big blind, not going to be high frequency check, right? But remember, you're playing out of position against the button. So it's not so much about cutoff playing pure check against the big blind's check, but it's more that they still have the button to worry about behind. Okay. Okay, let's take a look at this 10-10-3 board. So we do have some really strong hands on this board, obviously, but we're pretty much going pure check, 99.9%. I would just play pure check. And another situation where cutoff is going to play pure check as well. Now, be interesting to just think about this a little bit more, like 50 big blinds deep, cutoff versus button. Is that pure check against the button? I'm going to leave that with you to think about. But as you can see, in this situation, that's what it's going with. And this is a really high frequency bet. Now, before someone came in and said, "Oh, how often is button betting versus cutoff check?" And it was like roughly 50-50 on the ace-4 deuce board. Here, though, look at that. I mean, versus two checks, 87% betting and 13% check. That is really, really high frequency. So it'd be interesting to see, what's going on there. Button does have some strong hands. Does have all the 10x. You can see them in there: ace 10, king 10, queen 10, jack 10. 10-9, 10-8, ace 10 off, king 10 off, queen 10 off, stuff like that. Let's just rewind a little bit and have a look at the cutoffs. All the offsuit 10x, all the suited 10s as well. You got some of these, down here as well. The suited 10s in here. So plenty of 10x. And then if we go back to us, I mean, we've got loads of 10x as well. So everybody's got lots of 10x. In terms of like proportionally, that's a really good question. I don't have the answer to it. Because yes, we might have loads of 10x, but we also have loads of non-10x hands. So we just start with a bigger, like more combos in our range, right? Scoreline says, what is the frequency of button range versus the cutoff open? It's a good question. Because there's no frequency on here, is there? Maybe someone could do that on our DTO preflop. Just tell us what 50 bigs button versus cutoff is. Anyway, so they're betting very frequently. So let's have a look at what our response looks like. And this is it's an example. We're going to do another paired board in a moment, see if it's the same principle. But we do have lots of strong hands, but so does the cutoff, so does the button. And so we end up playing this call or fold strategy, which again becomes really easy once you understand, okay, this isn't the kind of spot where we get to raise some of our strong hands. And we're going to play very high frequency call. Now, really obviously, 10x hands are going to continue and 3x hands are going to continue. And also pairs are going to continue. You can see 2s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s all continuing. The challenging part here is to identify the hands that continue that are not any of those hands. And the most obvious are going to be those hands wrapped around the 10 and with a backdoor flush draw. So you've got hands, for example, like king jack with a backdoor flush draw, king queen even without a backdoor flush draw continue. You can see king queen of clubs in here calls most of the time. King queen off calls most of the time. But when you get to hands like queen jack, jack 9, queen 9, king 8, jack 8, hands reasonable, like over, one overcard and a backdoor straight draw and a backdoor flush draw, you get to continue. Same with the ace-x hands. So that's what we're really looking out for here. And then hands like 9-8, 8-7, again, kind of wrapped around the 10 with a backdoor, straight draw, backdoor flush draw. Same with 8-7, 7-6, a bit spicier, I would say. And I think that's it. We do start seeing some folding with 3 deuce of clubs. That's probably one hand that if it came up, I probably would have got wrong. 4-3, 5-3, 6-3. Okay, yeah. So just keeping an eye on this as well. So Cap64 says, is the big blind still going to slow play if the board was a bit more connected like 10-10-9? We're going to look at a 6-5-5 board in a moment, which is different for a couple of reasons. One is the number of 5x we have in our range and that it's more connected, right? So stick with us. We are going to look at that board in a moment, but we don't want to give too many spoilers right now. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is, remember we're just playing between fold and call. As a tiny bit of raising. We're going to continue with all of our 3x apart from 3 deuce of clubs and some offsuit 3x, but most of it calls. But remember, all pairs we're going to continue. Weak hands like this are going to fold. It was only kind of king queen off that continued all the time. Only the bets. Only bets the nuts. Only the bets. Only bets the nuts says 15.3% call, 10% 3 bet. So I guess that's the answer to the 50 big blinds. Button versus cutoff open, right? So thank you for that. You say you're lurking. Great stream. Glad you are here. Not going to be good enough though. Queen 6. Remember it was like 9-8, 8-7, 7-6, Jack 9, Jack 8, Queen 8, but not Queen 6. I don't think. Oh, here we go. 9-8. This is one of those hands where we are supposed to call, and I think this is, if you've not studied this before and looked at it, I think it's you maybe don't find it. As the sandwich player, but remember, like, you know, the cutoff can't go too crazy versus a call because you are only playing a call strategy yourself, and you can have some 10x hands in there. And good example, you know, that's what we want to do. King 7. Okay, there's a tiny bit of calling. I thought it was at King 8 where we started, but fair enough. But yeah, a lot of these are going to be very boring, just folds. Remember, 2s continued. 5s continue, so all pairs continue, all the 10x continues, but you just have a lot of folds as well. 5 deuce, okay. So this isn't like a 9-8, 8-7, kind of wrapped around the 10, Jack 9, Queen Jack, King Jack, but it is wrapped around the 3, and it is a backdoor flush draw. Who feels brave enough to click the call button on this in this spot? Let me know in the chat if you guys are calling or folding. Remember, those are the only 2 options. We don't need to raise or jam. There's no raising or jamming. I mean, if there is, it's like tiny amount. So we've got votes for call. J-Stock says YOLO it. This is a great question from Jim Bobwe93. Does the cutoff do much bluff check raising despite the fact that the big blind is so protected? I think it's a great question. We can explore that in a moment. Well, let's come back to that. So if the rule here was that if you have a backdoor straight draw and a backdoor flush draw, you can continue, then this would be a call. I just don't know if it's just too weak. Let's see. Okay. It's too weak, guys. It's too weak. Let's have a look. 5-4 with a backdoor flush draw does continue sometimes, but yeah, 5 deuce, 4 deuce, not going to be good enough. Even though it's wrapped around the 3, I want to be wrapped more around the 10. Okay, let's just answer this question from Jim Bobwe 93. Is there much bluff raising? And I would say yes, there is. So you can see a lot of the 10x going for a raise. Very much going for more raise than call in this spot. But the bluff raises, again, are going to come from the hands wrapped around the 10. So backdoor straight draw, backdoor flush draw type hands. Remember that the button was betting like 80+% of the time as well, which is quite interesting. So yeah, 10x raising, obviously not going to raise quads. Just too strong. 2s and 3s. I mean, 2s is bluffing, or just getting, overcards to fold. And then, yeah, there's some over pairs going for a raise here as well. I would say that on the whole, population and not in this situation and not playing this aggressively. I mean, maybe you guys can correct me on this. I think 10x is an easy raise, and it doesn't raise all the time. But finding those 3 to a straight, 3 to a flush type hands, I think is more challenging. Only bets the nuts makes a really good point here. Says big blind has all of their strong hands in a call only, but of course also has all of their worst calls too. I mean, we're including some hands like 8-7 with a backdoor flush draw, but also some 3x and some pairs that are really going to struggle against a check raise in this spot. Could we explore the turn for the cutoff check raise? We're trying to keep things to the flop today, big blind defense, but I can see why you want to do that. I would just encourage you to pick this up and explore it yourself. We're only on the third flop, and we are almost an hour in, and I've got loads more flops that I want to do as well. So yeah, let's now switch to this other this other flop that is more connected, as somebody just asked for. But also, let's have a look at our range. I mean, if you think about all the suit 5s that we have lots of them. We have some offsuit 5x as well, 5x in here. So that's something to think about. We also do a little bit more betting. It's only 6% though. So again, I mean, there's some betting 4s, 3s, 4-3, 6 deuce. But I think on the whole, I mean, I'm not going to try and drill this right now. I'm going to check and see what happens. But yeah, that's quite a lot of betting this time from the cutoff. That's a roughly 50-50. This is a Travis T says, I'm here for the 3-way. Excellent stuff. Well, glad you can make it. Only bets the nuts says, yeah, if any of my live opponents check raise king 8 suited with a backdoor flush draw here, I'm going back to grinding low stakes online. Yep. All right. So a lot more betting. So we're going to look at bet call, and then what we need to do. No raising here for the imposition player. They're going to call draws, backdoor flush draws, and ace queen full frequency, and then ace jack sometimes. All pairs apart from 2s, and not all ace x are going to continue even with a backdoor flush draw. So fair enough. Okay. Let's have a look. Wow. So earlier on I said it was easy if you could just know that the strategy required there were only 2 options, right? Before it was fold and call a lot of the time. This time though, not really any calling, not really any big raising or jamming, but just fold or small raise. And that is a lot of those hands. This is going to be really fun to drill because, I mean, I'm trying to just find the patterns here at the moment. So gut shots, all gut shots, and 6x, obviously 5x, full houses and quads. Yeah, I think 6x is the big standout that we want to check raise here. Obviously, we don't want to fold it. But then gut shots want to continue, and then 2 overs with a backdoor flush draw, I guess, if we're looking at hands like queen jack. Yeah, king jack, king queen off sometimes. Yeah, I mean, these are going to be... If I hadn't seen this, that I would never have found these. King queen off, ace 10. But yeah, you can see the other ones in here. King 9. It does do some folding actually, but mainly going for a raise as well. Kept 64 says very intuitive outside of the ace 10, king queen, queen jack. Yeah. I guess with the with these hands we can improve to a flush draw, but we can also improve to a pair. And you've got to imagine that we're going to clean out some offsuit king x, jack x, queen x, right? So yeah, so we get these hands to fold. So when we improve to top pair, sometimes we're going to be up against king queen with a backdoor flush draw, but most of the time our king or queen or jack is going to be fairly strong. So I think that's why we're doing that. So yeah, just raise or fold. So let's just see how we get on. I'm just going to cheat a minute. Okay, yeah, there was some raising with this hand. There's one thing I hadn't seen was 2 overs, but sort of not overly connected. Like a 9-8 is a gut shot, 9-7 is a gut shot, 8-7 is an 8-out straight draw, 8-4 is a gut shot, stuff like that. So yeah, this is going to be fun. So this is a Travis T says cleans out the next street play too, I guess, folding out offsuit dominating hands. Yeah, exactly. That's what we just went through. All right, so gonna fold king queen. Wasn't this doing some raising and some folding? Yeah. Queen 7 was doing some raising, so I imagine this does some raising as well. This is gonna raise, fold, fold. I'll try and again pause on the interesting spots. So again, like having a 6, if we know it's going to be raise or fold, we don't click call or bigger raise or jam, and so we just click this one instead. 7 deuce was just too weak, I think. Yeah. Same with this one. This one. This was a gut shot. Oh, what's the other bit doing? Calling. Okay, fair enough. This will be the same. Gut shot. Interesting. I was like looking at this thinking, have I got this wrong? Is this not a gut shot? Let's have a look. Okay, so it's this little this little pocket we didn't see. When you think in terms of visualizing this, I just assumed that every hand down here would be raising, but you can see it's just an outlier, just like the king 3 and the 6-3 hands earlier. We just didn't see them. Do the offsuit hands that raise contain both suits on the board? That is a great question. I like that. No. It's pretty even split here, isn't it? In fact, I've not seen this very often where the raise frequency is exactly the same with each combo. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Question here. Don't you think the raise percentage is a bit small? It does feel small. I agree. When we raise as a bluff, are we generating folds from better hands? Yeah, I mean, we're getting some ace-x hands and some high card hands to fold. Hands without backdoors are going to have to fold. So, yeah. But it is very small. The player in position here is not going to be folding too much at all, as you can see. Only folding 28%. We get him to fold ace-queen, ace-jack, though king 9, no backdoor. So, yeah, it is quite small. And I think this is... I wonder... I mean, the overall strategy is this just this small raise. Now, my guess is that when they've put the sim together, they started to notice that some spots require small raises and some spots require bigger raises. And excuse me, voice is going. And this, like on this paired board, we can raise a lot of our strong hands and still get loads of value because our opponents are forced to continue. But then we have some bluffs in here as well. So yeah, I'm thinking that maybe we get, if we just had a size in the middle, or yeah, maybe it becomes easier to play, but maybe we're not maximizing EV by only having one raise size. So really good point here. It says, intuitively, I would have always raised 3-2 of hearts and never king jack off. And that's why it's a good idea to drill. Yeah. So remember, I said right at the start, and if you've watched any of my streams on this before, I always focus on studying the spot first, then drilling it, and not expecting to get 100%. And actually, if you get 100%, you either got lucky because it was just spots that you knew what to do, or you're just a genius and you don't need to look at this spot anymore. But yeah, you're going to get some variance in there for sure. Okay, let's try and drill a few more. This was a raise, fold, fold. Oh yeah, this is the the more tricky raise. I mean, where's the other call? Okay, fair enough. This is a gut shot. Is it going to raise and a little bit of calling? Fair enough. I'm going to fold here. 8 out straight draw this time. Surely lots of raising. Lots of raising with a 5. This is an 8 out straight draw as well. So I'm going to see lots of raising. Lots of raising. We're going to fold. Remember the 6x went for a raise. Okay, I've got a feeling I know what to do here, but let's see who was paying attention. Are we folding or raising with this hand? So we have 2 overs. We have backdoor flush draw. Does this make it into a raise, or is it just too bad and we have to fold? Okay, we've got early shouts for raise from J Stock. But scoreline says fold. We've got Turtle Monkey says raise. So some interesting that it's not everyone going for the same thing here. But when we talked about raising and generating folds from hands that like offsuit hands that beat Queen Jack, right? So if we improve on a queen, they would have folded Ace Queen off and King Queen off, so which is quite useful. But it is it's almost pure raise with this hand. So good point here that there aren't any calls in this spot. It's just raise or fold. I mean, I say no calls. There were trace amounts on the 9-7 off. I think it was like 5% call or something like that. But mainly going for a raise, and it was we'll have a look at it in a moment. But it's a very, very unique looking. Does this make it in there? Okay, a little bit of the time. But yeah, we'll have a look at it. Very unique strategy. I'm going to get up to 25, and then we'll move on to a different. Oh yeah, we actually want to look at what happens when cutoff checks. And one more. Ace 10 off raised. This one folds. Okay, so just a quick reminder. This is what the strategy looks like: raising a lot and folding the rest. So yeah, pretty unique. All right, so this time cutoff checks, and button has a much lower frequency bet this time. In game, would you use the same check raise size? No, I probably would go bigger, but then that might affect the strategy, right, at equilibrium. Well, it will. I mean, 100% will change the strategy, but yeah, it's a really good point. I think I probably would use a bigger raise size, but I'd want to have a look at some more sims to have a look. And I think this multi-way stuff is relatively new. I think I mean I don't know of another product on the market where you can drill like this and learn so quickly. So it's like I think anybody using this software, coming to these sessions and drilling and studying the spots yourself, like you're just going to be so far ahead of most players. I think you can run the sims yourself on. There are some multi-way solvers out there, right? But then you're only running like one spot, and it takes a little while. And whereas here you can get involved and start going through it straight away. So hopefully you understand like the idea. I come from an education background. I used to be a teacher in a former life. So I'm really keen to like explore the different ways people learn. And so when I explain to you the system that I use in terms of studying first and then training, and then you go back and you study some more and you train and you drill and you do that, like it's backed up by research and things like that. So I think it's a really good way to learn. And the amazing thing, and I'm not just saying this because I'm doing this stream right now, but the amazing thing is that you've got all of this at your fingertips, right here. You can just go through it with the ranges, the strategies, the different spots. Set them up yourself and just get better at playing them. Ace Jack of clubs here is a bet. Other suited check. So it looks like Ace Jack of clubs checks the most frequently, and the others bet. So the other way around. Okay. Canadian said ×3 or ×4. I tend not to go in like multipliers, but size of the pot. So probably whatever 40, 45, 50% of the pot was. Okay, so that's what our opponent's not betting as frequently now. So before we had cutoff high check and it was button high bet, and then we decided what we wanted to do. This time it's not, the button's actually not betting as frequently. Let's revisit the misconception from earlier, which was, I saw it so often before this software came out, that the big blind never gets to raise as the sandwich player when the original raiser is still left to act. Now, bearing in mind, we have a lot of 5x hands here. Do we think that's going to be true in this spot? Or is it wrong? Basically, is there going to be any raising in this spot? I think there's got to be, right? Let's see. I mean, that's a pretty considerable amount of raising, let's be honest. So again, kind of taking the same ideas, raising a lot of 5x, but also raising hands wrapped around the board. So even like a hand like King 7 with a backdoor flush draw, King 8 with a backdoor flush draw. You got those overcard, Queen Jack, King Queen. Maybe there's some more calling in there as well. Just hover over a hand like Queen Jack, so you can see mixing between raise and call, but folding clubs. I mean that there's no club on board, so I think that makes the most sense. But yeah, just a huge amount of raising here, 29.4%. But we do have more than two options here, and we do have call as well. So fold, call, and raise, no jamming. All right. Okay. If anyone wants to highlight any patterns that you're seeing in this, then go for it. Only Bets and Nuts says we have a lot of 5x combos in our range, so we have to dig fairly deep for bluff hands to offset that. Yep. I mean, look at it though. We're not raising all of our 5x. Like a hand like 8-5 doesn't always raise, 7-5 doesn't always raise, 6-5, pocket fives, 5-3, 5-2. Yeah, there's some calling in there as well. Funny that quads raise a lot, but sixes don't. Yeah, I mean, just by looking at that, I would say that when you have quads, you're trying to get called by, well, potentially a 6x and other hands, right? When you have pocket sixes, you block a lot of the 6x. But to be fair, like if someone has a 5, maybe it's hard. Basically, it's harder to have a 5 than it is a 6, right? Especially if you've got pocket sixes, it's really hard for someone to have a 6, or a lot harder for somebody to have a 6. All right, this is going to be really fun because the mixes are going to be interesting here. But sort of the general ideas then wrapped around the 6, mainly over the top, but could be like a 7-4, like an 8 out straight draw instead, or there's some 7-3 in there as well. Gut shots, some 6x, 5x raising. We've got some ace highs going for a call as well. Offsuit hands, I'm looking at you. King 8 off. If this hand had come up without looking at it, I would have pure folded it, but backdoor straight draw, 2 overs. Pass. Interesting, very interesting. But there's some, yeah, let's try and make sure that we fold these poor hands down here, unless they have a gut shot. A straight draw. We've got some overs with backdoor draws. So yeah, let's just see how we do, I guess. So Zonk de Bonk says, thanks Gareth and Scoreline. Scoreline is another member, just in case you're watching the replay and you don't know who Scoreline is. Scoreline is somebody watching called Scoreline Analytics. Says, I'm not playing that much and only MTTs, but I like education. Yeah, me too. Okay, right. Awesome. King 8 off. Oh, look at this. Mainly folding, but with some calling and some raising. Okay, we're too good. Gut shot, call and raise, probably never folding. Okay, happy with that. Queen deuce, going to fold. This will be the call and raise, I guess. Yeah, more raising than calling. King deuce, I want to say this is just too weak, but let's have a look. Yeah, okay, fold. 7-4 wraps around 6-5, call and raise, I guess. But again, more raising than calling. Jack 8 off, I just want to fold. It's so strange. King 8 off wants to continue. Some 6x was raising, but I think it's going to be mixed between call and raise. Mainly raising, but some calling. This is going to be a fold. Call and raise, I guess. Again, gut shot with a backdoor flush draw. Ooh, pure raise. Okay, we got this one wrong. So pure raise with 4 deuce. Interesting. I want to see what 3 deuce does as well. So 4 deuce, pretty much always a raise. Even 4 deuce of clubs is raising a lot. And then 3 deuce is a lot more calling. Okay. 9 deuce fold. This is a fold. Oh. 10-4. Not calling. Wants to raise. Let's have a look. Okay. It's quite a tricky one to find. Raising, many folding. Fair enough. Interestingly, Queen 6 is pure call, no raising. It seems too easy to just default to clicking the call button, and if it says like 46%, you know, the rest is probably going to be raising, right? So, but interesting, yeah, queen 6 is just pure call. Then king 6 does some raising, jack 6 does some raising. Yeah, I mean, that's tough. Backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draw. I don't want to fold. So I guess this is the answer. I want to fold this one though. And this one. And this was the pure call hand. And I'm going to fold here. And this was mainly folding, but the other options are available. This is a fold. 4 deuce. We just had this 4 deuce of hearts was raising a lot. And even 4 deuce of clubs was doing a lot of raising. So I think this is going to be very high frequency raise as well. But yeah, these are pretty boring. When it's like queen 9 of clubs, you know, it's just to let it go. Okay, so king 3 of diamonds going to go raise. Okay, well, all options are available. Let's do a few more. Pure calling with the queen 6. This would be call and raise. Folding here. Oh, some other options. King 10. Wow. I didn't see that. I saw king 8, but I didn't see king 10. I assumed like a hand like king queen would continue, but fair enough. Okay, and we're over. So let's have a look. Wow, okay. So king 10 mainly folding, but some calling as well. Same with king jack. King queen continues a lot more frequently. That's cool to see. We didn't get any of these hands, and this is what I was talking about earlier in terms of variance and learning. That if you don't get dealt these hands when you drill it, well, you're not going to know. Like, let's say you didn't see this to begin with, and you finish and you got 25 out of 25. You think, right, yeah, nailed it. But you're not being dealt every hand. You saw some hands we got dealt more than once. But yeah, I'd say like 25 hands isn't going to be enough to on any of these spots. So you do want to explore. Keep drilling and go through it. Was 4-2 of diamonds raising more than 4-2 of hearts? It's like 2.8% in it. So 4 deuce of hearts is raising more than 4 deuce of diamonds. And 4 deuce of spades is raising the least with a backdoor flush draw. And then 4 deuce of clubs obviously doesn't have a backdoor flush draw. Color bias maybe. But it'll be to do with the suits of the 6 and the 5. Oh, that's weird though, right? Both the 5s are 5. This is why you're saying it, right? Because 5 of hearts, 5 of diamonds. Like, why would there be much difference here? Don't know. Good question. No idea. All right, let's. I think we've got time to do one more. So I'm going to throw it over to you. Yeah, I think we should do this. Do you want to see a low connected board like 9-8-5 or a low unconnected board 7-3 deuce? So basically the answer is either 9-8-5 or 7-3 deuce. Okay, early votes for 9-8-5. Let's do 9-8-5. Well done, guys. All right, 9-8-5 is going to be interesting. Thanks for your first time chat, Conficker GW. Pure check then for us. Let's have a look at the really strong hands. We're missing pocket 9s, pocket 8s. We do have pocket 5s. We can have what I heard recently was full fat, full fat 7-6. But yeah, full frequency 7-7-6. And then we've got some 9-8, but 9-8 suited must do something funky pre. 8-5, we have 8-5 off. We have 9. We don't have 9-5 off, but we do have 9-5 suited. All right. The scoreline says really interested to see how we balance check raise the nuts. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Okay, so we might have to. I'm just conscious of the time here. We might only get a chance to. No, let's try and whiz through it. We're gonna do bet call and then us, and then we're gonna do check and then be the sandwich player when the button bets. So this is what their range looks like. I'm gonna go fairly fast here, playing pretty much call or fold, and this is us. So This time, so on the what's interesting on the paired board, it used this small sizing in this when it went bet call, cut off bets, button calls, actions on us. Whereas this time we're seeing the bigger bets. So just be aware of that. So we've got 3 options: fold, call, or big raise. And yeah, looks like 5x of hearts, 5x of hearts, 5x of hearts, just always raises. 6-5 of hearts and 7-5 of hearts, gut shot, flush draw, pair, just wants to send it. Let's get it in. Always continuing with a 5? No. So only continuing with a 5 with a heart or some sort of else going like 2 pair or straight draw. Always continuing with an 8 low card or a straight draw, and then once you get up here you need a heart, I imagine. Some raising with a heart as well. This is going to be fun once we get these hands, because this is where I can already see some mistakes happening. Yeah, a7, king 7, we have a gut shot and a backdoor flush draw, but if we don't have a heart, we just want to let it go. a6 off, just raising with ace of hearts. Same with king of hearts. Ace 5 off is going to continue with a heart. So really just looking for a heart, a reason to continue. Is there anything else? 9x is always going to continue. Some jamming here. No, yeah, some jamming and some raising. Okay, 9-7. I guess, yeah, top pair and a gut shot. That's good to know. So basically looking out for your highest value hands. Although having said that, where's 7-6? Oh yeah, 7-6 just raises very frequently. There's actually some small raising in here as well, but yeah, not very much at all. 5x, 6x. Flush draws, 10-6. Okay. What's funky about 10-6 of diamonds? Because Jack-6 of diamonds folds. 10-6. Not sure. I'm sure you guys have got a good idea though of what's going on here. We've got some backdoor flush draws in here. I think some of these, potential for some mistakes, which is fine. Again, that's why we're going to drill it so that we can see. Queen Jack's always going to continue, so gut shots going to continue. 9x. Okay, right. Well, let's give it a whirl, because we want to continue, and this is one of those hands, right? 10-7. Oh no, 10-7 was obvious. It's a straight draw. So what was I saying about the 10-7? Let's go back to it. No, maybe it can't have been 10-7. 10-6. 10-6 of diamonds. Okay. Okay. So if the 7 comes, the 10-6 has the nuts, whereas Jack-6 doesn't. If the 7 comes, Jack-10 would be the nuts though, right? So 10-6 isn't the nuts. But I like the idea. I'm just not sure that it's not quite there. Okay, gut shot and a backdoor flush draw. Cool. Nope, that is just a pure fold. Let's just drill this, train this, study this a minute. King 6 off. Okay, king of hearts, we want to raise or fold. We do want to have a flush draw. We don't even get to continue with king 6 of diamonds. So yeah, it's just going to be too weak with those weak draws. Schenk says we dominate all other 6x. Okay. 9x, we were going to continue all of those. This is going to be a continue because we have a backdoor flush draw and a gut shot. We want to continue all of our 9x. We do actually have a gut shot here, so I wonder if we do some raising too. And remember, the small raise isn't getting used that much. Okay, raising and doing a bit there. Queen 8 off. I really want to fold here. What do you guys think? I really want to fold. Turtle Monkey wants to call. I just wondered if it, being the, out of position still against 2 players without a heart. Yeah, Zonk de Bonk said call if Queen of Hearts. That's what I feel as well. I feel like we maybe need the heart here. Let's see. Okay, there is some calling, but very indifferent. Let's keep on going through. 7-5. I want to call some raising as well. Nice. Ace 10. I'm going to fold. 10-8. I'm going to call. Ooh. That's interesting. I think I saw this when we looked at it first. Calling, I mean, a tiny percentage of the time, but raising most of the time. Let's have a look at this. What was the? It was Queen 8 off, right? Yeah. So Queen 8 off with the Queen of Hearts just continues all the time. Actually, does some raising too, but Queen 8 off without does some folding. So I think that's good to see. What was the hand we just had? Anyone remember? Just 10-8, was it? Okay, good, thank you. So 10-8 off with the 10 of Hearts raises, and the others mix between call and fold, but mainly calling. Okay, cool. 5x here, I'm just going to fold. Yeah, happy with that. Oh, I didn't see what the sets were doing. Call or raise. Okay, just always raise. So let's have a look at this. Pocket fives. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why I click call. It's always raising. Let's have a look at any of the others. There's no other sets because we don't have 8s and 9s, but yeah, 5s is always going to raise. Same with 9-8 and 7-6. So those are the strongest hands that we can have here. 9-5, 8-5 as well. Okay. So 9-5 straight in. Let's go. 9-6 mix. Oh. 9-6. Where are you? Let's have a look. Oh, okay, because we had a heart in our hand. It's just pure raise. Okay. Good. Gut shot and a backdoor flush draw. This one is just a fold. Let's have a look at this. Okay. Yeah, so we need to have just something a little bit more. It's just not quite enough to continue with the 7-4 of diamonds. Wow, this has been a tricky one. I want to raise here. And the rest will be cool. Fair enough. Not sure. We might move on to the next bit. This spot has proved pretty tricky, actually. So one I'll be exploring a lot more later. What do you guys want to do here? Let me know in the chat really quickly, and then we're going to switch to cutoff checking and button betting. Scoreline says, really good board to drill. Yeah, I mean, the number of mistakes I've made so far is really highlights how tricky it is, I think. Are you raising 9-6 with one heart then for the backdoor flush draw to make it, or to take the pot more because there are fewer flush draws out there? I imagine it just having a heart gives you more equity, right? Just overall, that's like a basic idea. As to whether that is because it makes it harder for someone to draw to a flush or we can improve on when it goes heart. It's tough to say. Okay, so fold seems reasonable. I'd fold. Let's have a look. Okay, yeah, it's pure fold. Right, let's we're gonna skip doing this, and we are going to have the button bet, and they're betting roughly that 50-50 strategy or frequencies again. And this time we don't have any raising or jamming. So why is that? Because we do have some strong hands in this range, right? We do have 5s, we do have 7-6, we have 9-8, 9-5, stuff like that. But I guess we also have lots of lots of other hands as well. Let's go back to the cutoff strategy. Let's think. So it's a 9-8-5 board. They could have top set, middle set, bottom set. They could have 7-6 themselves. They can have over pairs. They can have lots of top pairs that check. They can have second pairs. They can have under pairs. Okay, fair enough. So just yeah. So we'd go through that really quickly. And I'm going quite fast through this now, guys, because we're almost out of time. We're going to carry on through, and we're going to see on this 9-8, what was it? 9-8-5 board. Continue with all of our 9x and our 8x and our 5x, apart from when we have these cards down here, 5-4, 5-3, 5-2, unless we have the hearts. And the same thing's going on up here as well. So hopefully we get to see some 5x hands here, because then we can practice those. But then we continue with flush draws. We continue with gut shots with a backdoor flush draw. And continue with the ace of hearts a lot. Okay, those are the things to look out for. Let's go. Last few minutes. Thankfully, we're just going to play call or fold. We have a gut shot here and 2 overcards. Okay, I'm not going to fold. Gut shot and backdoor flush draw. I think we want to continue. I'm going to fold this one. I'm going to call here with a 9. Ace 10 off. I think we continue with the ace of hearts, but not without. Same thing going on here. We're going to continue with a pair and a gut shot. Ace of hearts. I'm going to do some... Ooh. Okay. Made a big mistake, didn't I? Made a big mistake because the overall strategy has no raising. So I knew that we had to continue with the ace of hearts, but we went a little bit, got a bit excited and went for it. King of hearts, not sure if that's going to be good enough. Might be a call, but I'm going to go fold. 8, I think we continue with all of our 8x. We continue here, of course. Continue with all of our 9s. Gut shot, overcard, but no backdoor flush draw. I'm leaning towards fold, but it is just a call. Let's have a quick look at this. Okay, so again, we improve on a 10. Okay, something just to think about a little bit more there. Oh, okay, yeah, 2 gut shots. Well, this is the downside to doing it so fast. King 2 overs and a backdoor flush draw is a fold. Lucky me. Let's fold this one, fold this one. We don't continue here. We would call if we had the ace of hearts. We call with an 8. We're going to call with a flush draw. We have a gut shot and a backdoor flush draw. I'm just not sure if this is strong enough. No, it isn't, so we should be folding. This is too weak. I'm going to fold. This is good enough. I'm going to fold this one then. I'm going to call this one. Definitely going to call this one. And this one. And I'm going to fold here. So folding those weak gut shots is good. Always continuing here with the ace of hearts. I think you fold without. I think this is a fold. I think you need the ace of hearts. Yeah, pretty much. I'm going to fold here. Always going to call here. We want to call with the ace of hearts. We want to call with the 2 overs and a gut shot. Folding spades. Folding this one. With the 4 of hearts, I don't think it's going to be good enough. We need the ace of hearts, so we're going to fold. Continue with a 5 with a 5 of hearts as well. Definitely want to continue this one. And that's going to wrap it up. Right. We went pretty fast at the end there. I recognise it must have been hard for you to... Yeah, it might have been hard for you to keep up. But, yeah, that was fun. So the 985 board, when it went cut-off bet, button, call, that was the most challenging spot that we looked at today. So we did ace-9 deuce, ace-4 deuce, 10-10-3, 6-5-5, and 9-8-5. I did have some other boards to go through, but unfortunately, we're out of time. If you haven't done so already, hit the follow button. Follow DTO's Twitch channel. And yeah, I'll see you in DTO's Discord if you've got any questions for me. And yeah, I'm going to wrap things up there. Scoreline says, great stream. First time catching one of these. I'll definitely check out more. Zonk DeBonk says, thank you. Good stuff. You're welcome, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, take care. See you soon. Bye.